So my inspiration mostly comes from the music. You know, I get inspired when I hear a different piece of music and I see someone dance to it. That's where my inspiration comes. And this young lady right here, because when I play good music, she can't help herself, which inspires me. And now I'll push her out of the camera. No. So yeah, my main inspiration is the music, and seeing people dance to it is what inspires me. So when I see people into the music, it makes me listen and feel the music, which makes me want to dance. From my perspective, if you're a good dancer, will accent the music. A great dancer will become the music and make you want to dance. The best thing to do is to practice, okay? Not train, okay? You train your mind to listen better to the music, but you practice your craft. Take one move and practice that move to one whole song. Now you have that move, you'll never have to think about it again. Practice another move to an entire song. Now you have that step. The more you do that, or if you want to get a lot of steps, in an hour, every 5 minutes, switch steps. Okay? Now you've practiced multiple steps in an hour and you've gotten better at all of them. But the best way to get better is to practice your craft. Okay? Not training. Training is something totally different. This is not the Olympics. I'm looking at it. Okay, you are the future of hip hop culture. What you do with the culture decides where it goes, not me. I've already put my impetus into the culture. Now you have to put yours. That's what makes the culture grow. Everybody inputs, and that makes the culture expand. The people who just take from it makes it contract. Those are what we call culture vultures. We throw chairs at them. Um, dance and music is a part of my upbringing. My mother's family and my father's family always played music my entire life, and so everybody in my family can dance socially, you know. And so we grew up. I grew up listening to music, and then I watched a TV show called Soul Train, and I wanted to imitate the dancers on there. And then one of my cousins, he started dancing in a block party out of nowhere, and all the girls cheered for him. And I said, if he can dance and get all the girls to cheer, I can dance and get all the girls to cheer. I can dance and get more girls to cheer. Don't follow people or books, follow the music. When you're on social media, go through music. Find the music, you'll find the dance. There are tons of good people if you want to learn different things. Um, my bro and good friend, Professor Monsell Durden, he teaches not just about hip hop, but about dance in general and how it all connects and the history of it. Uh, there are several great dancers in my own crew. Of course, you guys should know who Link is. Khalif, Ejo, um, Sekou, Tony McGregor. There's a crew on the West Coast called Versa Style. They're great. They have a great dance camp. You guys have someone in your country who's pretty good coach. We call him Coach Kev, DJ Renegade. He knows his things. Very smart guy, very educated, and very good with knowledgeable about the music and the dance. There are, tons of people. One of my favorite dancers is Paradox in Amsterdam. He knows his thing. He's a good student of the game. I'm sure you guys have taken class with my bro, Mr. YouTube, and my bro Shadow. Two great guys, great dancers. Let me see. I would suggest guys, just the guys, learn from the ladies. That's who we learned from. Learn to move like the ladies. You'll never go wrong. That's where the dance comes from. That's the why of the dance. Okay. All the hardest b-boys and poppers and everybody that you've ever heard of that were famous, they got into the dance to dance with the ladies. So watch and learn from the ladies. They'll show you how to move. Don't dance with your chest, dance with your hips. Ah, yes. You all have access to cameras, correct? Okay. So choreography is just making a series of movements and connecting them. So what you want to do is, if you want to learn someone else's choreography, you have to watch them move by move and do each move. But if you want to create your own choreography, you have to film yourself. Do a step, do another step. Look at how those steps go together and try to transition them together, and just keep stringing steps in transition, because that's all choreography is. Think of it as a sentence. Each step is a word. Okay, you put in the words together to form a sentence to tell a story. So that's how you build your choreography, step by step. All choreography should be able to be broken down into its individual components, and then you can put it back together. Any advice for freestyle? Exactly what I just said in choreography, but with one step at a time. When you freestyle, what you're doing is trying to create. So if you've practiced one step for an hour, then you can take that step now, and this is how you freestyle. Take that step, you have one step, make another version of that step, a variant of that step. Now you have two steps, make two more, now you have four. Make two more, now you have six. Okay, make four more, now you have 10 versions of that step. Now take another step and do the same thing. Now take 10 of those steps and do the same thing. Now you have 100 steps. And now you don't have to think about it. You have those steps in you, and they come out when the music tells you to. The music decides what your freestyle is, not this. You dance from here, not from here. So that's what the practice is for. That's what you create. That's what the vocabulary is for. Vocabulary is so you don't start with nothing. You start with something and then you build on top of it. That's why we call it foundation. The dance industry is you. Without you, there is no dance industry. Okay. You want to get in the dance industry, you have to make the people notice you. You have to use your talents and make them come to you, not go to them. If you go to them, you have to go to them with the predicate and the idea that they need you, not the other way around. Okay? When you walk into an audition, tell everybody else to go home and tell the people that doing the audition, okay, I'm here now. I got everything covered. You can send all these people home. What do you need from me? That's your emphasis. You need to make them understand that you can do whatever they need. You are the commodity. They're the buyer. What you got? What you want? Here, you got the money. I got whatever you need. Okay, and if you want to pick up choreography, like I said, look at other people's choreography and look at it frame by frame, step by step. If you can follow, or just watch someone dance and watch someone dance and then repeat everything that you've seen them do. That shows you how to pick up choreography. So if you watch multiple different dancers and how they move, and if you can follow each one of them, then any choreography is thrown into you, you can pick it up because you know what you're looking at. Well, that's fairly simple. I've posted it on YouTube several times. Who, what, where, when, how, and why. Okay, that's what you judge on. Who is you, your character, how you dance. If you dance like Salah, I'm not voting for you because I know Salah. If I want to see him dance, I'll call him. Okay, so you are your character. So that's who, what are you doing? If it's a B-boy or a B-girl, if it's a breaking battle, you're supposed to be breaking. Okay, if it's a popping battle, you're supposed to be popping. If it's an open style or all styles battle, you're supposed to dance. So what are you doing? That's your vocabulary. Okay, how do you know what dance is what? Because each dance has their own steps, their own set of vocabulary. So that's what. So character, vocabulary, who, what, where are you doing it? Where is in the battle? Okay. Where is in the battle? Where is on the stage? Where is in the cipher? Where is in the music video? Where is on stage? Where determines what you do, how your performance is. So that's performance. So we got who, what, where, how. How is the technique? How are you doing what you're doing? How do you pop? You have to flex your muscles. How do you break? You have to do footwork and power and finesse and style, okay? How do you whack? You have to twirl, okay? So the how is the technique. When is creativity? When you put all of this stuff together, okay? When is when you put technique, vocabulary, creativity, and character together, along with the most important, why. Why is the music. No music, no dance. Your music equals rhythm. What rhythm are you on? If you're not connected to the music, then you're not dancing, period, dot. Okay? So who, what, where, when, how, why is rhythm, technique, vocabulary, creativity, character, and performance. That's how I judge a battle. And the person that gets 4 out of 6 wins. Oh, teaching Michael Jackson, heads and tails. Nothing is even in the conversation. To be in the same room with that guy and to just watch him do what I showed him to do, there'll never be anything better than that. When we were doing, after I did that video, I felt like, okay, it's all downhill from here. It'll never get better than this. It actually did, but I'm like, after Michael, where do I go? Down. But that was the greatest thing, most memorable. When dancing in public, don't think about you're in public. It's you and the music, and it's this. Nobody else is there. It's just you and the music. Okay? If you focus on the music, there's no room for anything else. Fill your head up with the music, and there's no room for anxiety, fear, or anything else. It's just you and the music. And then let go. Because when you're dancing in public, you're becoming a three-dimensional adaptation of music. The people that are watching you are watching the music. You're becoming the music. They're no longer listening to it alone. They're watching you and they feel the music through you. So it's you and the music. Our YouTube channel, it's called the Mop Top channel, and we have a thing we do called the Next School Dictionary. And there's several of them. We break down the different dance steps and give history of them and the connections of them. There's a Next School Dictionary. There's a hip hop, for hip hop and for house. There's the West Coast Dictionary with Mikey Disco and Super Dave. There's also a West Coast Dictionary with my brothers from the West Coast, the Soul Brothers from LA, because the West Coast is Northern and Southern, and they give you the history and steps from there. We have a video with my bro from jazz to hip hop with Professor Monsell Durden, breaking down, like we did today, some of the steps that are from vernacular jazz or original jazz dance and how they connect to hip hop. And I'm doing some more. We're going to do some other analogs, some salsa and from breaking, and we're just building it slowly, just so people have a blueprint and something to build off of, and some knowledge that they can share. Too many to count. Every opportunity that I've had, I've taken advantage of, because they're not opportunities, they're blessings. You have to take them for that. When someone gives you an opportunity to be you, take advantage of it. And that's what you're doing when you dance. The dance is you. It's your expression, So that's how I look at it. I've had multiple opportunities, and I've tried to do the best that I can to to show what I can do and who I am, and been blessed to, be here now to share it with you. All styles are fused, okay? It's called dance, okay? That's why it's called dance. If you're a popper and you pop, and you're a locker and you lock, and you're a b-boy, what connects all of those things? The music and the dance. So there's no fusing of styles. They're all fused already. You just have to figure out the connections, and that is the fun part. That's what we did today. The Charleston, that dance is almost 100 years old, but we fused it with the rev up. So don't look at it as a fusion of styles. Look at it as dance, and then how each thing connects to it. It's important to learn as much as you can. Learning never stops. I'm still learning. My elders that I take class from, they still take my class. We're all still sharing information. We're all still learning. So learn as much as you can. And if you learn more than one technique, then you can apply it in different ways. Okay. If you take the on-point technique of ballet, you can apply that in hip hop by floating and gliding on your toes. So the more technique you know, the better you can apply it in multiple ways of dance. When I started out, I was in high school, and I had a couple of friends. We were trying to make a crew, and they picked their dance names. And a DJ friend of ours said that I stretched like a slinky. Slinky is an old toy. And at first I picked the dance name Slinky. And of course that didn't work out. I had that name for about 2 weeks until I realized that it just didn't fit with my crewmates, Prince D and Snake. Prince D, Snake, Slinky. Doesn't have a good ring. So I went back to what he said, and it was like Prince D, Snake, Stretch. That sounds better. And the Buddha part is because when I started dancing, when I got into hip hop freestyle, my father introduced me to Buddhism, and I became a Buddhist. And I started to study Buddhism, well, haphazardly at first, but then once I started to travel and I met other people who were Buddhists, and I learned more about it, and I started to teach my father the things that I learned, and he started to call me Master Stretch. And, I wasn't comfortable with that, but it's my dad. I'm named after him, not the other way around. And he said, I'll call you whatever the hell I want. And so my best friend Khalif said, okay, I know you don't like Master Stretch, so I'll call you Buddha Stretch. And I've stuck with that ever since. We came together because of a lady named Rosie Perez. She's a famous actress. You might have seen her in the, what is the movie with, what's her name? No, not do. I'm talking about now. Birds of Prey with what's her name that plays the crazy backer Joker chick. Anyway, She's a famous actress, and she used to dance on Soul Train, and she's a choreographer. And she hired myself and some friends of mine to do a music video. And then she got a bunch of other people to be in the music video. And that's how we all met. And we met doing this music video with a lady by the name of Diana Ross. And then Rosie and the director of that video put us together to go on tour with Diana Ross. So actually, the first stop of the tour was where you guys are in the UK. And so we flew to London, but Miss Ross wasn't able to get us work visas. So they kicked us out and they sent us home. We got to come to the UK for one night. And we got to go to the club and we hung out and we partied, and then we got on the plane and went home. But after that, we became good friends and we started working together from that point on, and we've been a crew ever since. Audition? No, love, we didn't audition. I met Rosie when I was on tour, and when she came to New York, my partner when I was touring, my brother Cliff Love, he had known Rosie for years, and so she had his number, so she called him, and she told him to get me and get a crew together to do this job. Yeah, there were no agencies back then, and there were no auditions for hip hop back then. They were only for jazz and contemporary dances. We got everything that we got based on who we knew or if someone saw us dance. The best advice that I've ever been given, I would have to say that it's two of those. One from my dad. My dad said what Drake said in a song, but when Drake was still DNA. My father told me the same thing. He said it's, either you do give 150% or nothing. He said in everything that you do, give it 150% or don't do it. And then the other advice that I got was from my big sister, Robin Dunn. She told me, if you start stretching and warming up, you will extend your career. That was when I was 21.